been really warm here in Ohio, and I've been noticing the bees invading the chickens' water. We've got a couple down here flying around. They're usually up there in the bowl, but today they're down here at the hose where the water, oh, they're actually going up in the hose to get water. Let's see how many's in there. Quite a few just pouring out of the water hose there. Look at that. Right back in. This one's up here on the side of the water dish, which last night when I walked by here after putting the chickens away, it was loaded with bees. See, the 7 frame's doing pretty well. I just added an 8 frame wood box to the top of it, and I need to get back over here and secure it a little bit better. Not that it's going to fall over. The problem is the 8 frame box is wider than a 7 frame box, so I've got gaps down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut me a strip of wood this thickness here and lay it across. Oh look, we got an antenna peeking down through. I'm gonna lay a strip of wood right here, probably glue it to this wood box. I'll stick it up in there, put some glue on the top edge, and just let it sitting there until the glue dries. Should hold it in place. And I'm gonna do that on both sides. Look over here, we've actually got enough room that the bees can get in and out. Thought that was a drone for a second. I've been seeing very few drones. Very few. Bees are booming though. Not a whole lot to work right now. It's very dry here in Ohio. We're actually a little over 6 inches below where we should be on our rainfall. So this is the one with the banks frames in it. And I haven't inspected it since I set it up, but there's a reason for that. I'm kind of discouraged by the way I set it up. With the banks frames, they go from the top box all the way down to the bottom board, and the way I've got it set up inside of here, the frames that I initially started this split with were just deep frames, and they're down here in the bottom deep, top's a medium. So in order for me to inspect where the bees actually started and then grew over to the banks frame, I've got to remove this box, and you know that's pretty easy with when you ain't got the banks frames in it, but removing this box with the banks frames in it means the frames are going to hang all the way down here. So how do I go about setting this over on the ground to inspect the deeps that are down here? Well, you're going to need an empty deep box to sit on the ground first, and then you'll have to set the banks frames down inside of it and set your medium on top. So for that reason, I haven't made inspections yet, but I have been keeping an eye on them and keeping them fed. They've got SERP in their feeders now, but the last time I looked, there was no action over here. And that still seems to be the case today, so won't bother them. Close it back up. Last week I had a couple here in my township reach out. Well, they reached out a couple weeks ago, interested in beekeeping and wanted to know if anybody could mentor them, and my name was suggested quite a few times. My wife reached out, and I ended up reaching out, and they came over last weekend and helped me go through these hives and my nuke yard. And they're very interested. They've actually, they're wanting to reserve a couple of my nukes for next spring, so pretty cool. Pretty cool. So in other news, been working with Vever on a couple different things. They got their chicken run here, which I haven't fully assembled just because it's been so dang hot this week. But it went together really quick, this part did. I've got like 20 minutes in assembling this. So be watching for that in the near future. I also was just recently sent Vever's digital microscope. Plugs into your computer, into your smartphone or your tablet, and there's an app you can install. You plug in the microscope and whatever's underneath of it comes up on your screen, and you can record video and take pictures. Pretty cool stuff, especially for someone who keeps bees. So be watching for that real soon too. I'm gonna show you some pretty cool stuff really close, and it's all going to be honeybee related. So be watching for the Vever microscope, digital microscope, and the Vever chicken run. Let's go over here and see how a couple of these nukes are doing real quick. I actually took time, and it's hard to tell here, but I raised all these trees up a little bit, and it let in a lot more sun. I've actually got a short clip of me trimming the trees and cleaning it all up. Take a look at this. All right. Stan, doing well. This one here I don't have any identification on, doing well. And this one here is a little bit weaker, but they are doing well. They're definitely growing. They were almost starving when I started feeding them a week and a half ago. So got food in there now. Probably wouldn't hurt to throw on some pollen patties from Hive Alive, but I told you there wasn't much in bloom. One thing that is in bloom right now is common ragweed, and that usually gets blamed for a lot of different allergies people are battling this time of year. A lot of ragweed there. Watch the pollen come off of it. Lots of pollen. And this is Sue. And Sue seems to be doing pretty well. But anyway, the ragweed, I don't think it has much of a nectar flow, but it does produce a ton of pollen. And you'll see some yellow pollen coming in on these bees' legs. That's what it's from, the ragweed. There went some orange pollen. Jewelweed is also in bloom, but mostly ragweed is the biggest source right now. Waiting for the goldenrod to get enough in bloom for it to be beneficial for the bees. It is blooming here and there, but there's not a real thick patch of goldenrod in bloom yet. So a little bit longer wait on that. So important things here in this video to keep in mind: make sure you got water out for your bees, and make sure you've got some kind of a floaty device on top of the water for the bees to land on, folks. Water is not just important for us and your fur babies. Our bee babies also need them. So make sure you have some source of water out. The next thing you want to be concerned about is feeding your bees, and right now 1-to-1 is what you want to be mixing your ratio at. Pollen patties, not a bad idea. But the concern with pollen patties is if you put them on a weak colony and there's not enough bees to defend that pollen patty, small hive beetles can be a problem. So anyway, that's about it for today, I think. I just wanted to take you around and show you the bees are needing water, and talk about some of the necessities we need to be thinking about right now. We should also be thinking about mite washes and mite treatments. It's not too soon, folks. Get that mite level down so your bees can thrive and build up for winter. So if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below, And I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to watch this video today. If you enjoyed it, smash that thumbs up button, leave me a comment, and if you really want to see more of my content, make sure you hit subscribe and click on the little bell so you can get notified when new videos are released. Thanks for watching.